It began with an unthinkable crime: the death of a 7-month-old baby boy. Jake Haro and his wife Rebecca were both arrested, charged with murder. At first, the case seemed straightforward, horrifying but clear. A tragic example of abuse hidden behind closed doors. But then, everything changed. In a sudden twist, Jake Haro broke. He turned on Rebecca, his wife, the mother of their child. Now, he's cooperating with law enforcement, giving statements, handing over evidence. According to him, he didn't do it. He says he watched. He says she did it. A man once investigated for child abuse now claiming to be an innocent bystander. Is Jake Haro telling the truth, or rewriting the narrative to save himself from a lifetime behind bars? This isn't just the story of a baby's death. This is a story of manipulation, strategy, and survival. A legal chess match, where every move could mean freedom or life in prison. What happens when two people, once united in love, now stand on opposite sides of a courtroom, each accusing the other of the ultimate betrayal? Viewers are left to decide: is this cooperation or calculated betrayal? If Jake is now painting himself as just a witness, while a 7-month-old baby is still missing, ask yourself, why would someone with a history of abuse be trusted without scrutiny? If that question matters to you, pause for a second, hit that like button. Tell us where you are watching from in the comments below. You're helping push this story to people who might otherwise never hear it. This isn't just another case. It's about how the system decides who gets believed. Insert after. So why is law enforcement listening now? August 14, 2025, UK, California. Rebecca Haro calls 911 in a panic. She tells police her baby 7-month-old, Emmanuel Haro, has been taken. The story is terrifying. A parking lot, a violent attack, and a child gone. But from the beginning, something doesn't add up. Investigators search for clues, security footage, witnesses, any sign of an abduction. But they find nothing. No struggle, no surveillance. No one saw a thing. And within days, police come to a chilling conclusion. There was no kidnapping. Whatever happened to baby Emmanuel didn't happen in a parking lot. It happened at home. As the investigation unfolds, the case takes another unexpected turn. Jake Haro, once a suspect, has now stepped forward, positioning himself not as a defendant, but as a cooperating witness. Legal experts say this is a calculated move. A man with a violent history, seeking to shift the spotlight and possibly save himself from the full weight of the law. Behind closed courtroom doors, negotiations are underway. Jake may be working to secure a plea deal, one that could dramatically reduce his charges or even result in them being dropped entirely. In exchange, prosecutors expect a powerful weapon: his testimony, a detailed account that could implicate his wife, Rebecca, as the primary perpetrator. But here lies the question that haunts everyone involved. Can Jake's story be trusted? He's a man who was convicted of child abuse just 2 years ago, someone who fractured an infant's ribs, yet escaped lengthy prison time. Now, he claims he was a bystander, a witness to something he says he couldn't and didn't stop. For prosecutors, this is a delicate balance. The potential to strengthen their case against Rebecca is tempting, but the risk of relying on a man with such a past could also undermine the entire prosecution. For the public, the lines blur between cooperation and manipulation, between truth and survival. Is Jake Haro finally coming clean? Or is this a carefully crafted strategy, a legal gambit designed to protect himself at all costs? The answer remains hidden beneath layers of courtroom tactics, conflicting statements, and raw human desperation. And the clock is ticking. A baby with cerebral palsy from Jake Haro's prior abuse is still suffering. Another child, Emmanuel, is presumed dead. And yet, somehow, this man walked free before, and he might again. If that makes you feel like something is deeply broken, then help us do something about it. Hit subscribe not just for more videos, but because someone has to keep track of what happens when accountability fails. Insert after. Child Protective Services under scrutiny for lack of follow-up. Law enforcement faces a complex and troubling dilemma, with Emmanuel's remains never recovered. The physical evidence is frustratingly sparse. There are no clear signs to pinpoint exactly what happened or when. In this void, Jake Haro's cooperation becomes both a beacon of hope and a source of unease. Flawed as it may be, his statements could help investigators piece together a timeline. They may reveal crucial elements in proving a case this serious. If Jake's account is detailed, if parts of his story can be corroborated through digital records, phone data, or circumstantial evidence, prosecutors believe it might be enough to convict Rebecca Haro. Yet this strategy carries significant risks. Jake Haro is far from a reliable witness. He has more motive to lie than nearly anyone else involved. His past is riddled with deception and abuse. So the question lingers: is law enforcement placing too much trust in a man with a history of manipulation? Is this a smart legal strategy or a desperate gamble? One that could either bring justice or unravel the entire case. The community reels from the shock. A family shattered by betrayal and suspected abuse. Vigils are held, candles flickering in the night for baby Emmanuel. Friends, neighbors, strangers united in grief. But within the family itself, the fractures run deep. Divided loyalties tear at their very core. Some relatives believe Jake's story is a desperate lie, an attempt to save himself by condemning Rebecca. Others hold on to hope, refusing to believe he could be capable of such betrayal. In a rare jailhouse interview, Rebecca Haro stands firm, her voice steady, her resolve unbroken. "I will not give up," she says. He is a good father. Meanwhile, Jake remains silent to the world, speaking only behind closed doors with investigators. As the public watches, questions mount. Who is telling the truth? Who is hiding behind a mask of lies? And in the end, who can we really believe? August 22nd, 2025. Just over a week later, the case explodes. Jake and Rebecca Haro are arrested, charged with murder, and with filing a false report. At first, they stand together. No statements, no cooperation, a united front. But it doesn't last. Under pressure, Jake cracks. He starts talking, and what he says shocks even seasoned investigators. According to prosecutors, Jake Haro claims he saw it all, that Rebecca was responsible, that she inflicted the fatal abuse while he stood by. He insists he didn't touch the child, that he didn't stop her, but didn't participate. But there's one problem. Jake Haro has a history. In 2023, he was convicted of child abuse. A separate case. A different baby. He fractured an infant's ribs. And yet he served minimal time. No prison, just probation. Now, the same man who once hurt a child claims he simply watched another die. So the question is, why is law enforcement listening now? Is this the truth coming to light? Or a desperate move by a man with everything to lose? Let's be honest. This story will disappear from headlines soon. But the children harmed by these decisions, they don't get to move on. If you've watched this far and still haven't subscribed or shared this video, please ask yourself why. Justice only happens when people refuse to look away. Don't be someone who forgets. Stay informed. Stay critical. And together, let's hold systems accountable for those who can't speak for themselves. Across Yucaipa, Cabazon, and stretches of the Moreno Valley Freeway, search teams have scoured every possible inch. Cadaver dogs have been brought in, vehicles seized, and forensic teams combing through evidence. Every lead followed, every tip investigated. But still, Emmanuel Haro remains missing. The baby at the center of this tragedy, now lost to the shadows. And the biggest question haunting investigators is simple. Where is Emmanuel? Jake Haro, now cooperating with law enforcement, has yet to reveal the location of his son's remains, the exact spot where the unthinkable happened, or where a body might lie concealed. Is it possible Jake doesn't know? Or is he deliberately withholding that crucial information? If his cooperation is genuine, if he truly wants to help, why keep this darkest secret? For now, the search continues, but the silence only deepens the mystery and the pain. The tragedy of Emmanuel Haro's death doesn't end at the courtroom door. It forces us to look beyond at the system that was meant to protect him. Jake Haro's 2023 conviction wasn't his first brush with the law. It involved another infant, left permanently disabled by his abuse. Yet, shockingly, he was given probation, no prison time, no intensive monitoring. Why was such a dangerous individual allowed back into a home with a vulnerable child? District Attorney Michael Hestron has called the prior sentencing outrageous. A failure he believes could have saved Emmanuel's life. Child Protective Services is also under scrutiny, criticized for a lack of follow-up and missed opportunities to intervene. How many warning signs were ignored? How many chances were lost? This case is more than just a crime, it's a stark reflection of a system strained to its breaking point, and the devastating cost of that failure. The next chapter is about to begin. On September 4, 2025, Jake and Rebecca Haro face arraignment. The opening move in a legal chess match with everything on the line. All eyes will be on Jake. Will he take the stand? Will his testimony hold up under scrutiny or crumble? The evidence will be dissected, piece by piece, scrutinized for truths and for contradictions, and whispers swirl about a possible plea deal, one that could dramatically alter the course of this case. If Jake walks free or with reduced charges, the justice system will face a reckoning. The question will linger long after the courtroom doors close. Was justice truly served? Or did the game play out in favor of strategy over truth? If you believe justice should never be determined by who lies best, if you want more than headlines, if you want truth, consider subscribing. On this channel, we dig deeper, not just for views, but for accountability. We stay informed, we stay critical, and together, we hold systems accountable for those who cannot speak for themselves.